We are at a break point with Hytale right now. The former CEO Simon Hypixel tweeted, "All in, locked in," and made a follow-up saying, "Just made my final counteroffer. The only chance to see Hytale. I'm going all in." This is the timeline. Let's go. The offer is 10 times what the true market value is. They have no team. No one can even start or compile the game anymore. I hired most who could and will continue to do so in the coming days. Hytale is for the players, by the players. I should have given you guys a chills warning with how much confidence Simon is writing with. For a bit of history, if you're not caught up with everything, after Hytale's cancellation, Simon came out of the woodworks and announced he will try to save Hytale and release it with the former team. All he needs is for Riot Games, the previous publisher of the game, to sell the IP. He was willing to put up $25 million for development cost to make this dream become a reality. Well, we are in the final stages now. Simon has been in talks with Riot Games for weeks now, and the negotiations themselves have been going smoothly. Simon himself says this offer is probably too much, but he's either gonna walk away relieved or excited. In his words, "I'm actually offering more to prevent a delay that would permanently vault the game. Last thing we want is for them to start thinking they can do it themselves and cancel again in a couple of years under a completely different vision, like what just happened." He's crystal clear. Only the original team, or people who truly understand the original vision, could bring Hytale to life the way it was meant to be. Anyone else would just slap the IP on their project and claim it as Hytale, only for the true experience to be forgotten. That's why Simon's been quietly hiring back as many former developers as possible, the ones who can still actually start or compile the game, and he says he'll continue doing so in the coming days. And yes, he knows exactly how risky this is. This makes absolutely no sense at all financially. None. He even jokes that this is beyond risk, but compares it to passion projects like buying a small town movie theater or an old arcade, knowing it'll probably lose money, but doing it because you love the idea of running it. For Simon, Hytale is that passion project. Part of this urgency comes from avoiding the same mistakes that got the game canceled. He calls the engine rewrite a massive mistake that reached a grand total of 0 players. And the rewrite wasn't just technical, it brought in a new vision and design that kept on piling new promises as the years went by, which we've seen with the rework of the different factions such as Quebex and Scarix, as well as the alleged rework of the entire Hytale OST. Back then, my vision was simple. No trying to be Roblox 2.0, no Fortnite style live events before the game was even playable. Those events are great after the core game is polished. And he reminds us Hypixel had already run big in-game events before, so it was never a novel idea that wouldn't have happened naturally once Hytale was in the players' hands. Simon's focus is the opposite of the rewrite era. Reset expectations. Release an early access build quickly and get the community creating content right away. He says the players should be in as soon as possible, not years later, and the game should grow with them. The community is a huge part in why he's going all in. The Save Hytale movement, fan art, and even the W Place event gave him the confidence to take this gamble. It made me even more comfortable going all in and risking it knowing that I might have an audience to support the game later on in darker times. He also reveals that not everyone at Riot even knows about this movement or how dedicated the fanbase really is. Some people in the game industry don't play games or look at X, formerly Twitter, or Reddit at all, so it makes sense. That's why he's been adjusting his approach to start talking a universal language: money, to get through to the decision makers. But here's the dangerous part. If they properly investigate, they'll realize I'm overpaying. If they watch internal overhyped presentations, they think they can fix it. That's the worst case scenario in his eyes. Riot believing they can restart the project internally only to repeat the same cycle and kill it again. Simon's conclusion is simple and final. I need 100% control if I do this. That way, no one can stop me from releasing an early access version. Yes, it's a bad financial decision. This is my final conclusion. He's optimistic, but knows this is it. The last shot to bring Hytale back under the people who actually built it. If Simon's offer is accepted, the very first step is getting his hands on the actual game and code base so he can assess exactly where things left off. He's already said his priority would be to review the game and update the roadmap before making anything public. Not because he's trying to keep secrets, but because he doesn't want to overshare before it's a sure thing and create a roller coaster of emotions for the team or the community. From his perspective, the core Hytale experience was already within reach years ago. During his time leading development from 2016 to 2019, he believes it was at absolute maximum 2 years away from a PC release on the legacy engine, and dozens of former developers from that era agreed. He still has videos, screenshots, and old client builds to prove it. The original team was introducing new gameplay elements almost weekly. The world generation, NPCs, modding tools, and cinematic systems were all real and working, and the project had unstoppable momentum. That's the version he wants to get back to. A leaner, more focused release that doesn't wait for perfection. In his words, we don't need to release in a perfect state. We can add more content later on and you would get to keep your world. For him, early access means cutting certain adventure content at launch if necessary, with the option to bring it back later once the survival base is strong. He's also thinking ahead about communication. Simon says he used to push frequent blog posts during his leadership and would do the exact same again, eventually transitioning into detailed patch notes once the updates start rolling out. He's even open to marking some older posts with disclaimers when features or statements are outdated. Full transparency from the start. In terms of gameplay, some features from the 2018 trailer were already nearly finished or easy to fix. The mounts and hot air balloons worked with a quick band-aid solution back then and could be made fully functional in days. Minecarts just needed a bit more development to reach the shown state. The world map UI was almost done and only needed to be hooked into the quest system. His point is that much of the wow factor from the original reveal wasn't smoke and mirrors. It was functional, in-game systems that could be polished for release far faster than rebuilding everything from scratch. He also understands the importance of YouTube and streaming for a game like Hytale. The cinematic tools, which allowed for shots like the Dragon Boss landing, were built with creators in mind, and he's committed to keeping those tools intact so players can tell their own stories and promote the game organically. From day one, his release philosophy would be ship the core survival experience as soon as possible, maintain player worlds throughout updates, steadily expand NPC interactions and quest lines, and bring back the magic of the 2018 vision without chasing endless rewrites or feature bloat. And if you want to follow this journey in real time, from the moment the deal might go through to the first playtests, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I'll be covering every step of the process, breaking down each update and showing you exactly how close we are to finally playing Hytale. I'll see you guys in the next video.